Then
includes Al-Albani Hadith opinion, yes?
no. That is when you go to that to understand how they make hadith, you will find that actually Albani misunderstood all of these things.
But when he defined it, he say this one here. When he defined
no, he doesn't define it this way. He follows because Hadith Hasan is not one category. Hadith Hasan mostly is not the hadith which is Hasan for itself. Mostly is the hadith which is Hasan because of many narrations. That is most of the hadith Hasan. If you look for the hadith Sahiha of Albani, Silsila Sahiha, you will find that most of hadith Hasan is not because the person is not good memory. No, because this hadith came from many narrations. Yes, and that is what made it Hasan, and that's why they have no proper definition. So some people will make it Sahih, or some people will make it Da'if. Not only that, the same person will make it Sahih and make it Da'if. And you see the Albani, for example, Silsila Sahiha, he has more than 700 hadith that are Sahih somewhere and Sahih Da'if somewhere else.
Why was Albani considered so strong then, or is considered?
Because he was in a time when there was no people who speaks about hadith, but soon or later, the people are even his students, the people who not students, but they don't dare talk about him in that way because their books will be rejected. They answer to him, and like every one of his students, not students, people who say praise him.
Oh, shit.
Take a chunk of his hadith, like a part of his hadith, and answer to it. Soon people will realize that, oh, actually that Silsila Sahiha, all of it is da'ifa. So what is they all praise him. This is the Sheikh of Muhaddithin, this is, and then every one of them take a book and he answer back. Later someone will come and say, okay, look, he is the most knowledgeable, everybody here praise him, they all like him, but now everybody, if we take what they have said, the whole books don't make sense, you understand? You find this Abu Tariq Awadullah from Egypt, Abu Mu'adh, he is one of the student of Albani, but he answered Albani, and he is very strong compared to Albani. At least this person, he followed the rules of the mutaqaddimin. I mean, he followed the rules, he doesn't bring rules, but at least he understands them. When Albani and Ahmed Shakir before him, and all that generation, when they came, it was time when there was no hadith, so quickly they read the books, they started so it was like a long time people have not looked at the book of hadith, so they made this mistake and then they kept it, you understand? Later these people had time to read and to look and to search, and they were under pressure as well, and Albani doesn't deny that he was under pressure to finish books quickly, because he had what we call deadlines, he had agreements. If he doesn't finish the book, he will not get paid, he will have to pay money, as you understand. So he had these conditions from the people, so he doesn't have time to read. He was teaching people before he goes and read himself, you understand. He read various basics books on hadith, but that is sooner or later will come to the surface. I mean, there are some people who clearly criticize him, and when it was 1, 2, 3 people, he could have won with them. But now that many people reading hadith, and they have to answer back, you understand, or they will be looking like stupid, you understand. They know, and then they say, why are we going to hide this, or why are we going to make him look good, and then we will look bad? Because if they say something and they will contradict themselves, they see that people are just, there are some people who are just reading the books to look for a person to write, so they are afraid of doing that, so they have to criticize him to get. And soon, like, there are so many names that I myself I don't read, but he brings me books when we talk, and then he goes and he reads the books, he come out, like I found the same thing there in the books, Milli Bari, this Tariq Awadullah, this Zubair Dahan, Abu Khubza, so many. the answer to Albani, and soon these people, because they are also now, they have started writing books and people read their books and they understood them, they became famous. Soon people will realize that these books are worthless. There were some books at one time. There is a book of Al-Ahkam, Abdul Haq Al-Ishbili. When this book came to the existence, this is from Ishbilia, from Spain. When his book came, Abdul Haq Ishbili is a cross between, he is not of a madhab really, he is like every madhab. And when he wrote his book, at the beginning was his book like, he was in his time, Abdul Haq Ishbili, nobody speaks about someone else.
When was he alive?
Just before, after Ibn Hazm.
Okay.
So when he came to his book, Kitab al-Ahkam, his book like was, he was in his time like Albani today for people. And Ibn Qattan al-Fasi came later and looked at the book, explained that this is a mistake, this is a mistake, this is a mistake. And then nobody hears about Abdul Haq al-Ishbili anymore. No, people who study Hadith and stuff, they look, because he is not that really that bad. He was, he still has his opinions, but the fact that he was like considered to be the only one, nobody like him, and that is something that people exaggerate. There is nobody like the only one, and nobody, he will never make a mistake, and this is people, is all exaggerations of people. You should never consider someone to be like, oh, he's never going to make a mistake, he's everything that he says is right. Everybody, you have to listen to what he says, and if you can understand it, you take it. If you can't understand it, you have to look to other people as well, to hear from other people.
Like Shaadh, but the Shaadh
is from the trustworthy.
Shaadh is trustworthy contradicting trustworthy, more trustworthy. Munkar is weak contradicting trustworthy. So it's weird, even worse than
Shaadh. We'll take it because we reject him because he's weak in the first place.
Yes, Munkar, the hadith of the Munkar, but you are explaining it is weak, not only weak, it's even Munkar because he is not weak who narrated this, he even contradicted the trustworthy.
Okay.
You understand? So Shaadh,
so Munkar, like, we don't even need to think about it.
Even Shaadh, you shouldn't think about it. Shaadh also is one part, we will come there inshallah. We'll talk about it. Shaadh is something that Ahmed Shakir, Wadi'i, Al-Bari, these mutaakhirin couldn't make mistake. Sometimes they come to hadith which is Shaadh. Shaadh means invalid. It has been, you see, weak person, they say, okay, weak sometimes make mistakes, sometimes doesn't. So we are not sure, 50-50. So if we find the backup, we take it. That's what they say about weak.
Albani.
Not, that is the majority of the mutaakhirin. But when it comes to Shaadh, Shaadh, no, it's not weak. Shaadh is invalid. It has been proven that is a mistake. You see, the hadith of the week is, there is a possibility that this time he got it right, because he is not always someone who forgets, sometimes he doesn't. So there is, maybe there is a possibility that he has memorized, maybe. But Shaadh, no. This person actually, we know that he has good memory, but we rejected his hadith because it has been proven without doubt that all these narrators who narrated the different way have condemned him. I said finish his hadith. So this hadith, don't tell me I'm going to look if there is any backup. No, this hadith is invalid, and this is how the previous used to do it as well. But those people, sometimes you come to a hadith which is Shaadh, and Albani say, yeah, this hadith is Shaadh, but I found another way that strengthened it. But because he misunderstood the rules of the people that he follows, he say that he follows. You understand? He does, it's not only him who does it, but he does it because he writes a lot, he does it a lot. You understand? But others also do it, and that is a mistake. But there is many actually. When I spoke to Yasser about these matters, he go and research, and he found that many people actually started with answering to this. to these previous people.
Okay.
You see, the hadith was dead for so many years. People read it. We don't know until, for example, from a long time there was no hadith until Al-Muallami came, and after him probably Mubarak Fori to settle, and recently like Ahmed Shakir, Albani, Ghimari, Abdurrahman, Habib Rahman A'zami, these people. So when they started, it looks like, you understand, they looked at the books and started in hurry. So they didn't, they made some mistakes, you understand. So, but there are now today among that students who correct their mistakes, even though in a gentle way. They don't say it harsh, such as for example Awadullah, what's his name, Abu Mu'adh, Tariq bin Awadullah, Egyptian. He's good. Amr ibn Abdul Mun'im Salim, something like this.
These are new ones.
Yeah, from Egypt as well. Millibari, Indian from Medina.
After Moroccan one,
Zubair Dahan. Yes, these people are now, they are fine in hadith. They are more careful, and that's what. But it depends. Some of them criticize clearly, so they are rejected, such as Dahan, for example. Millibari was thrown from Medina because he said they made a mistake. As for this Tariq Awadullah, and he said it in a more gentle way. He says they knew it, but he forgot about it here. Understand? They try to.
He got kicked out of Medina, that one.
And Millibari, he was thrown out of Medina just because he said that.
He's Egyptian.
No, he's Indian.
Indian, okay.
He was teaching in Medina, and then he was Madkhali plotted against him. Because he just says that he not in very strong, not the way we do when we talk about, just very gentle way. He said Albani made a mistake. So of course if he speaks the way we say, we will hang him in the middle of the Kaaba.